George, if you want to start the.
Oh,
meeting.
yes, let's go.
Yes.
All right. Let's see now. Hang on. All right, so roll call.
Jerry Burmeister.
Kate Edwards,
George Harris.
Sandy Butler.
Ted Julian.
Bob Ghost.
Okay, we have a quorum. And has everybody read the minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, we're good.
Cool, cool. All right, so first thing we have is the final language for the Kennedy placard.
Oh, yes.
I had to, I hated it, but I had to whittle it down so it would fit.
Right. It was lengthy.
It was, so, from what we have in town, 105 to 140 is kind of the most we have on our placards. So this one's 134, not counting the title.
Mhm.
So this is what we have. It's gone through Scott Reski. I've sent it to Scott Mellinger. Haven't really heard back, but I know he had kind of had the first draft after our meeting last month. So I think this is it.
Now, and it looks good. I like the way it's worded.
I
And I
do
love
too.
that last sentence.
Yes.
I mean, that's.
That's a
powerful.
Reskiism. I said, everybody knows who JFK is, and he's like, just imagine in 50 years when they don't. And I was like, okay, fine. I was like, everyone knows who JFK is, come on.
Well, it's a great sentence. I really
Yeah.
like it.
I agree.
I'll let him know you said that.
Okay.
That's all Scott Reski. Yeah.
Is this gonna, are you gonna have a two-sided
Yes.
plaque? Okay,
Yes.
all right. That was my question, because I've been talking to Nick today about that.
So I actually, I got with Nick earlier today, and I think we're gonna have to move the grant thing to January because I need more information on the
Okay.
actual
Yes.
pricing. And if it comes with the poles, if not, I need to spec the poles that come with it,
Right.
because we can't have a sign with no pole.
Right.
So right now, there is actually a, if you're all familiar with the railroad sign that's over there.
Yes.
We're going
Okay.
to move that
I-
one.
I was gonna ask that question.
Yes.
They'd be right against each other.
Yep, we're gonna move it, to by town hall here, and so we're gonna get a pole for that one, let's see. So this one is pretty much right where he was talking,
Yeah,
if you
so-
remember, so we're gonna put him there and move this one over to, we knocked this, or got rid of this tree, so we're gonna put it in there.
Why
I
did
know,
you-
It was dead.
We're
So.
cutting lots of trees this year.
It was,
Oh, yeah, you got one in your
Yeah,
yard.
no,
Yeah.
I don't, unfortunately.
it was not doing so hot, so we had to get rid of it, but we'll put that one there. And then we have another one, for the B and B or UNB Railroad. If you walk back to where our bathroom is, it's a one-sided plaque that was supposed to go in the park. So we're gonna get an extra pole and put that one up in the park by the pond.
Okay,
So,
and I do have a question. This may throw everything out the door. If we go with a state plaque, it goes on their registry as far as state events happens in the town or in Indiana. So in other words, we can order that through Historic Fall Creek, but I'm thinking maybe we need to go ahead and go to the state, which takes 6 months. But if we've got the funds, and sometimes they're running a special on those plaques, which makes them cut, I think the cost is cut in half. Bob would know better on that, Bob.
Do you have to get authorized though by them to, like, do you have to qualify to get those
Yes.
flags?
You
'Cause
do.
they could say no.
They could
Yes,
say no,
that's
but
correct.
So,
this is something that I don't think they would say no.
okay.
So, but it's whatever y'all want to do. I'm just
No,
saying.
that works. It's just, I didn't know what their kind of turnaround time was for reviewing and either accepting or denying an
I think
application.
applications are in,
Right.
they've changed that a little bit. They used to be May. Then the decision was made in July
Okay.
and they wanted your money, which is about $3,000.
Mhm.
What it was the last one that I got.
Yeah. You said it was 3,000?
Yeah.
So it's
which
probably
is a good
3,500
price.
now.
That's a good price. Yeah, they're probably 5,000 now.
So by doing it through the state, Sandy, will they pick up the cost?
They will not pick up the cost, but
Okay.
it goes on their
National
huge
registry,
national
yeah.
plan that this is what's here, which will bring tourism into Pendleton.
Yeah, I
If
believe
we
that.
go that route.
Yeah.
If we don't go that route, it's a plaque that we put up ourselves.
Let me check into it. I know Bob has sent me some information on who to reach out to, who
Yeah.
can review the placards.
Right.
I'll reach out to, I don't remember her name, Bob, off the top of my head, but I'll see if we can qualify for that. So that might just mean that if, you know, if we can do that, we will, but
She can't guarantee that you'll qualify, but she can say it's a good candidate.
Yes.
And then
Plus it'll save us money.
okay.
It's a good idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so that does move the timeline out quite a bit, but if
Mhm.
that's okay with everybody,
Yeah,
that's
then
fine.
they
with
do
me.
all come with
Sure.
the
We don't need to
ballots,
vote
the
on
whole
that.
hub,
They come with the ballast?
with their pole.
They
Oh,
come
the
with a
pole,
pole.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, hey, that's,
That's nice. And I can help you
Makes
do
it
that. I
easier.
have filled one of those out before. It's a little bit time consuming.
mhm,
But I think with this particular plaque, there's gonna be enough information that we can even pull off the internet to be able to fill in all their questions that they ask.
mhm.
So it's not gonna be a whole lot of thinking, it's just gathering and putting it down.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely look into that and do that and see if we qualify. And then if we don't, then probably if they tell you in July, you said, if they'll let you know in July, if you
That's what it used to
qualify.
be, yes.
Just have to look at on their webpage
Yeah.
and see when they're actually doing the applications.
Yeah.
Then the part you won't like is you have to make out what you think needs to be on the plaque.
Which we have.
And with three that I've gotten, I think they kept the word "the" on one of the plaques.
The,
They changed all the rest of the verbiage.
What?
oh, well,
They-
we don't want that risk. If they're gonna change all the language, I'm not gonna do
Oh.
it.
I thought that would be appealing to you.
No, I like, we've worked really hard on this.
Yeah.
It's 134 words. We worked really hard.
I guarantee it will be changed.
No.
It will, they will edit it,
This is just the manufacturer of the sign.
right.
Now,
And we-
we're talking about Indiana state marker, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
the state markers, you have to.
Yeah.
They have kind of their own parameters of what can be on the sign.
Well, we
They
could
didn't-
always
they
see
didn't
what
like
they
anything I
said,
said.
what,
Yeah.
how they alter it, and
Yeah.
if we don't agree with it, we can.
Yeah.
And ours is
forward.
ours is all fact. It's
True.
not, it's
Yeah.
not just, flowery and say this, he was here, this is what happened, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking for is facts. If you look at all the other plaques that we have, it's
Mhm.
basically just facts on there.
Mhm.
And that's what we have, so.
Let me reach out and we'll see what they say. And then if they say we'll accept it, but only under this verbiage, I'll bring that before you guys.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
And see
Yeah,
what
Sounds good.
what they say. Okay.
I like that.
All right, so that's an update on the Kennedy placard. The only other item I have, this evening, let me see. Yes, I did. Is the fire department would like to get some new light bulbs for the front of their building on State Street. So they're seeking a COA as well as a small grant for the facade, program that we have. So, what they have right now, Chief Nodine calls shower heads. They're these
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
modern looking lamps, and if you're any taller than me, and I'm 5'2", you'll scrape your head on it and walk by it. So, they'd like to get something with a little, more fitting with the globe shape and also maybe something you don't knock your dog on if you walk by.
So that's what they're looking at, is those round bulbs.
Yes. So
Okay.
this is the only picture I have with electric, I'm assuming when electricity, was more prominent in the area. I do have pictures where there's horse-drawn carriages, so that's irrelevant, but, this is the only picture I have where there are lamps on the front. It's 1943. And I have looked for the closest I can find to that style of globe lamp. And I was able to find a product that looks really
Oh.
similar.
Yeah,
It has a soft white, it's a frosted glass. It has a blunt bottom. I couldn't quite tell from the picture if these were more like the kind of triangle holders that kind of had a bit of a decorative little thing on the bottom, or if they were just kind of one pillar. I have zoomed in, I've tried to lighten this image and I can't tell, and I don't have pictures from any other angle.
This
So-
looks like it tapers down.
A taper. yeah.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I did a lot of looking and like, this is kind of the only really good one I could find.
How many of them do you need?
2,
Okay, so
I have seen a lot of vintage firehouses, if you will,
yeah.
being a retired firefighter.
Yeah.
In lots of cities.
You have
This
any
is
upstairs?
appropriate. I've seen these before.
You've seen these
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, the other thing too is they, you know. They wanted them to also have this, the safety of being able to light really well. I know those other ones are probably, since they're downcast, they might not shine as bright, and we don't have with our globe lamps that we have on the street lamps, those aren't top shielded or anything, so they do give off a lot of light. But this is kind of the closest I could find.
there were
I didn't
two
really
of them.
find any taper ones. To be
There were
honest.
2 of them on the police station
Right,
when it used to be there,
oh, the police station.
the eye doctor now.
They, like these,
Yeah,
used
they
to be
had,
there?
they had the round globe.
Uh-huh,
I have actually seen these
do we
with
have those?
the word fire, the word police, like
I
Bob
have.
said. I've seen the police.
Oh,
and fire-
really?
Yeah.
So this is what I could find that I think looked pretty close to what the original was. Also trying to kind of measure, I think they should be roughly the same size. They shouldn't be too small or too big. Kind of judging by those folks' heads. And then the size of this, it's 9 inches wide, so.
Where it gets interesting, if you get them from different sources, is that the fitter size is widely different on different lamps.
Mhm.
And so it may require a base on the glass this big or this big. Usually
Yeah.
they run 3.5 to about 6.
Okay.
Are you doing soft white or, I
It's,
know
it's
these are,
frosted, so it'll be,
but the bulb itself, are you gonna do LED?
it's up to No Dime what he wants to do.
Cause I mean, these lights out here are obviously bright white LEDs,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, like I said, they're definitely a safety aspect to them, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're mostly there for looks.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like
Yeah.
super practical for anything, and they don't use that arch door to leave the firehouse. So, safety, yes, but you know, if they wanna put something softer in there, they're certainly welcome to.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think so
fine with
too.
me.
Yeah, I think they're nice.
I make a
So-
motion to accept those.
Yeah, so what you'll be approving is both the COA for the lamps and then also the grant amount. It's roughly 150 a lamp with taxes and shipping. And they should, if we order them tomorrow, they should be here within 2 weeks. So,
Cool.
and he said he would have his crew install them. Okay. so-
So you got a motion?
Yes, sir.
Anybody second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, done.
good job.
Yes,
Good job.
Yeah, that's nice.
I like it.
All right, and then, I believe I sent it out to you guys 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. The business park trail that we are working on,
Yes.
with Banning Engineering and getting federal dollars for, requires us to send out kind of an early notification and coordination packet to anyone with a historical interest in the project area, which is a large portion of town. So if you have any questions on that or the business park trail, let me know. We're not expecting to, really the kind of main area where we might run into some historic properties, depending on what the state says in SHPO, on Taylor and Main Street. Everything else is pretty much not, there's nothing on it. So for kind of some reference, let me exit out of this and kind of show you where it is. So we have a proposed trail running from State down Main, down Taylor. We have a bridge that's sitting right there that we're gonna put over this part of the creek. And then all of this is town property that we will be putting the trail on through up here and then connecting to the bridge to nowhere. So
So it's
And
a
is
bridge
it walk
somewhere.
trail, bike trail,
it's a 10-foot walk and bike.
Asphalt.
golf cart?
That's up to town council. And the police. But I would imagine.
I can drive my golf cart to the gym at that
I
point.
would
I'm good.
imagine
No,
that's
that's
gonna
true.
be a popular use for it, but, anywho, so once really, like I said, Taylor up Maine this is gonna be kind of our biggest chunk. Where we might run into some practical issues, whether it's a historic property that SHPO doesn't want us to mess with. Utilities aplenty, small right of way, well, not small right of way, but narrow roads, things like that. So any concerns or anything you want that particular office to take into consideration when looking at this project, that's what that packet is kind of
Yes.
for. You know, bringing anything to their attention that they
Got a
haven't
packet.
found or that they won't find.
He needs a packet.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
I'm excited about using the old bridge.
I know, me
Yeah.
too.
That bridge has been there how many years?
Forever.
Sidewalk on Main Street?
It's a work of art.
Yes.
I know, and we've had Banning look at it, and it's because it's an old iron bridge and it's built to last forever. I mean, it looks a little rough, but it's structurally in incredible shape. Even though it's just sitting there.
Well, and so,
Hannah,
I
does
mean,
Does it replace the sidewalk on Main Street?
No,
No, I think what
Let me
we
count
would
there.
do,
Yeah, about
so there's two options you
Yeah.
can do with federal trail funding
Okay.
dollars. You can either have a single 10-foot asphalt path on a road or
Yeah.
an area, or you can have two 5-foot, 6-foot sidewalks, 5-foot sidewalks on either side and sharrows painted on the road.
Okay.
So that's what our engineers are in the process of doing right now is we're in PE, which is preliminary engineering, to see what is feasible. And it's gonna take us 2 or 3 years to do PE on the project.
I'm just thinking
because-
Main Street's kind of tight anyhow, so it would
Right.
take this current
Especially with
sidewalk
Parking.
and double it,
Yeah.
right?
For your house.
Well, it would only be
Yeah,
on one
I'm
side
right.
if we
I'm-
did a
Yeah.
trail.
Yeah, you're up.
So, I mean, there is kind of, with, when the feasibility studies are done, there's a possibility that, you know, the federal dollars can give us waivers if something is just completely impractical. So I think what they have been looking at though is a 10-foot trail on the east side of Maine. Because there's a surprisingly large grass lawn there and a really big right of way on Maine that's not really used. But they're still looking at it. We don't know anything solidly yet once we get over the bridge. The west side is very simple. We know where everything's gonna go because
Yeah.
90% of it's on our property.
Yeah.
And then if you've been past the Starbucks and the
Mhm,
bank and then
mhm.
what's gonna be going in here, they've built kind of their piece.
Yeah,
Because it's part of our site development plans that if we have plans like this in place or projects ongoing, you're required to build your portion of it. So I know that there's another development looking here. This property is pretty much right here next to Gecko is really not developable. There's an 80-foot gas main easement that runs right through that property there. You can kind of follow the cornfield. And next to Wolfie's and up north, it's a 3-foot wide gas main. It's
Yeah.
ginormous.
Yeah.
So you can put asphalt and shrubs, and that's about all they'll allow anywhere near it. So with that being said, these two areas in front of Gecko and this kind of undevelopable land is probably one of the first phases we'll do because it's filling in a very small skip tooth. And then we'll have kind of developers lead everything from there. So that and the bridge is our first kind of projected phases.
So you said 3 years for PE and then ETA rough.
Depends
major.
on what money the feds give us.
Okay.
So typically, if you have a project under federal dollars that has gone through the PE phase, they're much more likely to give you construction dollars than if you have these plans just kind of done on your own. Because they see they've already made an investment in it. However, that timeline of turnaround, if they are gonna wait 5 years to give us dollars, if they're gonna wait 6 months to give us dollars, if we're ready to go forward, because we have to match 20%.
Okay.
So, but it's much better odds. So, and I think with this property developing as well, we have a hotel and some outlots coming in here. They're gonna do this entire strip as part of their plan, because they have to. So it's a huge benefit to us that we've got so much of this already in the works to be built by the time we get to construction. I imagine the biggest portion is gonna be this ours, which is this zigzag one here, because that's our property and we're not selling it for development. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be like virgin ground that we have to put this trail on, at our own expense, but it's at 20%, so. That's all I have on Business Park Trail. Any questions on that?
You send me the packet too, please.
Yes, I certainly will.
That's a great project for the community.
I'm so excited
Oh, yeah.
about it because it
Mhm.
gets. Anybody who's over here can walk to downtown and vice versa. Any development that continues to occur on this side of or within the Falls Point Business Park. There's a lot of ripe opportunities for that. And then we have North Heritage Way. North of the roundabout, you know, this road is getting developed by the owner here, Mr. Kulkarni, in phases, and it will also have part of that trail. So he's building that with the road, just.
He's putting the
Straight-
road
straight
in
out.
himself? Wow.
And where will that trail head to?
Well-
North.
Eventually, so his property line ends here at this tree line, this east-west tree line.
Okay.
If and when this property ever sells for development, they would be responsible for continuing North Heritage Way to Old 132. And then that would kind of be where it could go. I know bike safety isn't super prominent like with Sharrows and Share the Road around this area yet, but that could improve. And then eventually the rest of North Heritage Way in our comp plan and our thoroughfare plan will connect up to County Road 600.
Wow.
Hopefully, when they take that road through, it will alleviate some of the traffic.
Oh, I certainly think so.
Yeah.
Once it gets to 132, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
that's-
relieving a heck of a
yeah.
lot of
Mhm.
traffic, but it's all developer backed and developer based, cause I mean, we can't afford to build the next leg of it or even the first leg of it,
Yeah.
so.
What hotel chain is going to be going in?
Fairfield Marriott,
Okay.
does that sound Fairfield? I
That's-
don't
yeah,
I
that's
think
what
they're Marriott.
That's what, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
So they're in their kind of site review phase right now. I don't know what their expected time is that they want to break ground, but they've just been working steadily on that site.
How many rooms?
96,
Hmm.
96.
Is that mainly to pick up, Ruoff
I don't know.
traffic? Cause
I
it used to
don't
be Mystic, like, you know, Mystic,
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Waters?
Waters
Yeah.
would get all the fish people there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, actually,
And-
I think this was part of the original dialogue when the fitness center went in, because
Okay.
they were gonna be bringing
Oh,
in a
was
lot
it?
of major tournaments like
Oh, yeah.
Nike
That makes sense,
sponsored
yeah.
and all that, and they were hoping
Yeah.
this whole
Yeah. I
see,
area
okay,
here
yeah.
was
Well,
going.
I know they've talked to me about potentially having two there if the need, 96 to 98 room. But I've only got kind of going plans for one.
Mhm.
So I guess they'll probably see how that goes
Mhm.
before they.
A lot of times they'll do a courtyard and a Fairfield right next to each other.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe that's
Or
what it
a
is. But
Fairfield and a residence inn or something like that.
So
but
I mean,
there's
we-
some good
we,
connectivity over here.
We joke about it, but honestly, to connect that for golf carts, I mean,
Yeah.
any restaurant that goes out there, I mean, it's just,
Oh, yeah,
you just open it up in an entire new
the
population.
NDOT does not regulate if it is for electric or motor vehicles,
Mhm.
that's what the town
Yeah.
has to do, so I would imagine they'd probably
Yeah.
open it up, but we would probably need to put some extra signage, watch for pedestrians.
Oh, yeah.
In your golf cart.
Yeah.
Wolfies could use the assistance on parking because they're.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
They need an overpass.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do. You
To
gotta
get
drive
to
to
them.
Noblesville to
Well,
get back home
we've
after you.
I know, just about.
This property here is still Mr. Kulkarni's, he hasn't platted it yet to sell off as outlots, but you can fit like 2 or 3 commercial lots there. And
Yeah.
as part of their plat, we required them to, if Wolfies was open to it, which I know they are, or whoever is the property owner at the time, to have a cross-access easement with their neighbor, so that they could navigate, from the rear
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Wolfies
yeah.
in some way.
Nice.
Whether it's a shared parking lot or a shared driveway, cause they're building, little roads off of North Heritage Way to access the businesses and homes that will be there. So I believe they're in talks about that, but we've required it if that property owner will allow it, which it sounds to me like he probably will.
So is a gas station still proposed right there at the
It
roundabout?
is, yes, they're in site development, they're moving forward just rolling
Okay.
along. So,
Growth is coming.
it sure is, man,
Mhm.
I tell you, I get calls just about every day. You know, what can I do here? What's this property used for? What can, you know, what are your plans there?
You just tell them no, right?
Yeah.
We
Well,
want,
then I'm gonna have to use a
No,
lot of
she
your tax
doesn't.
dollars in court.
Or you just give them a fake name.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't Hannah. no.
Little State Street's gonna explode though, you know?
Yeah.
It's great as long as it can go around somewhere.
Sure.
So,
Gotta be
and
some
with
outlets.
all of that happening, the hotel and everything, are we readdressing as a town the riverfront district issue and the additional
Well,
alcohol
I think it
licenses?
would behoove you and so, and whatever folks are interested in restarting that, to bring that to town council during public comment, to ask to have that reopened.
Because these hotels are gonna want bars and,
They
They're public
are,
access.
but that riverfront is exclusive for downtown.
what's that, please?
The riverfront is exclusive for downtown. It wouldn't go out this far.
Right,
Okay.
but
I
the
understand.
town licenses could sell their expensive ones to those folks out
That's true.
there
They
and buy lesser
local ones,
expensive
yeah.
ones in the riverfront district.
Yep, they could do that, 100%.
And if the people that happen to own liquor licenses were the ones that would be able to get the first riverfront district license when theirs had already sold, then it could be fair. But if my license sells, then I'd be able to get a riverfront.
So if you sold the existing one you have, and then you'd be first in line for a riverfront
It's just like an
license.
I
open
think that
container.
needs to be a
License
consideration.
longer.
That's
That
one of the
sounds like a good
door,
one
I
to
guess,
me.
is for-
Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Same restaurant license, you've got the wine stable license.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are the three, I believe, that are in them. Oh, you got Ted Julian's 2 licenses,
Mhm.
so before anybody gets a river district license, to be fair to the people that have already made big investments,
Right,
it should probably be written to take care of them and protect them.
Sure, yeah. Well, yeah, I'd suggest bringing that up at town council.
and then lastly, did you get a chance to talk to Gary about his facade grant funds? That we already distributed to him?
Have you looked at the front of this building?
No,
I talked to Gary
It's
one
happening.
day in my
Yeah.
store about
Mm.
Rammer,
Mhm.
about if he was gonna go ahead and go through with the grant.
Oh, yes,
And
he's
he told me,
he's
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
okay,
He's
Not-
thrilled because he walked through the new doors and they locked and shut so easily.
okay,
It's the little things, right? He hasn't reached out to me with his completion report so that I can pay out what's left on his grant.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if he was done yet. I connected with him a couple weeks ago, but
I just walked by there on the way here and it looks like one side is not done yet.
One-
It's
okay.
Close, but not done yet.
yeah, so once he's done and he gets me that, we'll finish out.
He did good.
and- But it'll
for
be
the
to
grant.
him.
Yeah.
okay.
Did you have examples of some bollards to show us?
Bollards for the plaque we want to do on Clark Avenue, Clark Street?
Yes.
No, I don't. I have some, but they're not in this server. So I'll get those to you, next time we meet. And cause I don't think that one's gonna get an Indiana marker for sure. So the brick pillar that's on Clark Street, there on off South Pendleton. We're gonna get a placard for that as well, but also some protective decorative bollards, so no one runs it over with their car. But that one's kind of taken a backseat to this Kennedy one, so. Cause that's gonna be all our expense, so.
Yeah.
I would
Unless
think
we
that
apply
that could
for-
qualify for Indiana state marker too.
Yeah,
But that, would it really
it could,
qualify?
it could usually,
I can check.
we could apply for the Bright grant in January
can
for
do-
those
yeah.
small plaques.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Because
think
those gonna
Rescue
be-
wanted a full-size plaque kind
Oh,
of
he
next to
does
it.
there,
Yeah, not on it. I thought it would be better to have it on it.
a small
A
one?
small
or-
one like what Helen has on her house?
Yes, that's what you need there.
Okay.
You gotta
that's-
be careful, I mean, when
Oh,
you're
I
sitting at
feel-
that intersection, it's,
Yeah.
You
Oh, yeah,
don't,
we
you don't
would-
want much stuff there
We,
already.
we would look for blind spots too, to make sure that you could see around it, but I think in his head, he had the large scale placard, which I don't think is really necessary, but the bollards, yes, I think are quite necessary.
The plaque would be bigger than the actual.
I know.
Right, right.
I know, so I'll chat with him about that next time I see him, but, so that one on is, we could tack onto that Bright grant once we figure out whether or not if we get the state price.
Okay, good.
All right, anything else, folks?
Jonas, George.
Well,
Do you have any?
sir, do
public
you have any
comments,
questions? Yeah.
Sir?
The parkway that you guys are building back there, that's, you said was gonna be on your land, you're not developing or selling. Are you going to offer that up for like pledging opportunities where maybe, people could buy bricks or in some kind of sponsorship methodology?
Well,
I don't know if that's something you guys could open it up to where people could
we,
buy into.
yeah,
You know,
we
buying a portion
can.
of it.
For our portion of it, and that doesn't care where it comes from.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as like, they have a very strict set of guidelines of what has to go in.
Mhm.
So anything additional to that, they might look at as a betterment, and then that's something that's almost like 100%. So if we were to open up kind of sponsorships for it, if you're putting in bricks or something, they would say that's fine, but we're not gonna help you pay for that. So we could, it's just, it might have to be at a higher rate, because we probably can't get away with a 20% cut on that.
If I understand the question.
But I
correctly,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. If I understand what he's saying correctly. You could have
Like a
bricks, or you
gazebo.
could say on a donor's plaque that be located at that site,
Yeah,
I've purchased, whoever it happens to be, whether it's you, Hannah Rose, has purchased the first foot, the second foot. and so you
Yeah,
do a foot of the
okay.
10 foot,
yeah,
and that would leave room for quite a few people.
yeah.
I've
Okay,
never
I
seen
think
it
I see
done
what
this
you're
way,
saying
but
now. No, that makes more sense.
From
I
a
think
budget
understood.
standpoint, I would imagine that would take a massive chunk out of your budget for any single year. To put in that long of a walkway that's 10 foot wide.
Mhm,
So I would assume that you wanna look for sponsorship opportunities
mhm.
to be able to put it in. More quickly, unless
Mhm.
you're putting it in, a section per year.
Yeah, Yeah.
If that's how you plan to do it.
Yeah.
But if you really wanna connect all that stuff together, I think a faster way to do it would be to give opportunities for local businesses and local private donors to donate,
yeah, that's a great idea.
to contribute to the park
Yeah,
and to be able to contribute to it.
yeah, and be able to display that in some way,
Yeah,
that.
even if they, don't necessarily get, naming rights or whatever.
Right.
I mean.
Well, if you did something like that, you could have like a general placard up on the bridge,
Yeah,
say, to name the sponsors of the trail.
yeah,
If
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a business and they're donating a certain dollar amount, sure, right? Like that way they're paying for their own placard too, because that's an expense in addition to the actual pavement that we're trying to put down.
mhm,
But at the end of the day, I think just the fact that, I'm a resident of the city and I would like to participate in something like that. Just knowing that I helped to contribute to it
mhm.
makes me feel better about the fact that I contributed to where I live. right?
And you're using
And
it.
it's betterment for the next generation and yada, yada, yada,
Yeah,
all that good stuff, but at the end of the day. We don't need to add additional expenses of trying to pat everybody on the back for buying a section of it. Just. That's why you're buying, is because you wanna contribute to the city,
yeah,
right? You wanna
Yeah.
contribute to the betterment for the next
Right.
generation and the opportunity for those children. So I just think that would be a good opportunity for.
no, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'll get with our community, development coordinators, name's Kerry Craig. He would kind of handle something like that. Granted, we're at least at minimum 3 years out. I think that gives
Yeah,
us a
you're
good
talking
amount of
2 years
time
in, yeah.
to kind of get something together that could be feasible. Because, yeah, if we can get it built faster and I can put money somewhere else, that, that's huge for us.
Private funding, right?
Yeah, Yeah,
versus-
that's huge for us, so.
And what is your name, sir?
Matthew Ford.
Thanks for coming in, Matthew.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Absolutely.
very good.
The way, the reading I've done on it so far, Hannah, they're gonna do it in phases.
Yep.
Like phase one is gonna be the bridge down there at the end and
Yep.
they're gonna work at it. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a $14 million project,
Yeah.
so. It's, yeah, but you're like, oh, no, it's just sidewalks and asphalt and all this, and it's like, there's just so much more that goes into
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
that, is all this behind the scenes stuff, but. It was actually kind of nice because it was a project that, had some funding back in 15 to 17 era. I don't really know what happened, but there was already kind of a good chunk of, like phasing work done. That when we got, funding a couple of years ago to restart this, we already kind of had some of the background work done. So we weren't starting from scratch, so it was really nice to be able, because this is a project that's moved way faster than any other project I've really worked on.
Good.
So that's encouraging. It sucks that it was stopped before, but at least we're moving on it now, so. Yeah, we've got a lot of really, really good projects moving with connectivity, so
I'm excited about it. I think it'd be a good fit for our
I
community.
think
Yeah.
it'll be
That'd
wonderful.
be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it'll make the overpass make much more
Yes,
sense.
yes.
Mhm.
The bridge down there.
Yes, this-
Yeah,
I know, but hey, when you get a bridge from NDOT
That's-
for
I
ARP,
know.
Oh, yeah.
you, it
Yes.
doesn't matter if it goes
Yeah.
nowhere for 50 years, you get
Right.
it. So
Absolutely.
we can all thank Rachel Christensen with a whole heart that she got that bridge for as cheap. as
And I know
we got.
people who walked on it, so
Yes,
it's not
I
a thing.
think a lot of folks take their kids like senior pictures on it or
Mhm.
something, cause it's a cool looking bridge.
Mhm.
I waved a flag out there on 9/11.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good, good.
So it's gonna get somewhere soon.
That's right.
All right, guys, anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Cool.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
I.
Aye. Anybody
All right,
opposed? Anybody
thanks,
anybody
guys.
want to stay? Okay, cool. We're out of here.